Okay, welcome back everybody. You are watching Game 2, Dignitas versus Pulse. This is the Premier League Season 3. My name is Triumphman, and tonight I am joined with a very special guest. We have Eternal Envy from No Tide Hunter. Envy, how do you feel about this game here?
I feel good. I want to see how good Dignitas does after the performance in DreamHack.
Hang on, wait a minute, I'm getting an echo. Why am I getting an echo here?
Do you mute co-casters?
I think I forgot to do that in-game. I haven't had a co-caster in so long. Where is the damn button? Crap.
Audio?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. There we go. Yeah, we go. Mute co-broadcast. There we go. That's fixed. Alright. Okay, so we have the Magnetor banned out first, the Rhino Puncher banned out first. We also have Batrider banned along with Dirt. In fact, exactly the same bans, although just reversed. The other Dignitas this time banning the Bounty Hunter and the Dirge instead. Envy, are we gonna see this forever now? These same set bans. This is the exact same set of bans from Pulse and Dignitas, just reversed for the teams. Pulse last time we're rating banned the Dirge and then the Bounty Hunter in that order. And then, of course, Dignitas Dire Team last time banned both the Batrider as well as the Magnetor.
And the picks seem to be the same as well, right?
Yeah, Darkseer straight up.
But I didn't watch the pick and ban phase, but I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense since they switch sides and they switch picks. If they think the same way, then they're going to ban the same heroes and pick the same way. But yeah, I think Darkseer on Sentinel is really good because if you put him middle, you can farm middle, and then you can walk to the small camp and farm that too, or walk to the big camp and farm that too. But if you're Scourge, you can't really walk to the jungle. It's too far away from the mid lane.
This is definitely true. In fact, we saw Darkseer trying to do that. In fact, the Pulse did miss a couple of stacks. Yeah, actually, it is pretty much. It's identical. I don't know if Pulse and Dignitas didn't agree to a mirror match or something. I should mention for people watching, this is a fairly important game for Dignitas. They do want to pick up this win if at all possible. Pulse, on the other hand, don't really have a shot at making the playoffs here. I'll just bring up the score here. But it's going to be I'm barely sure if I'm not going full retard, but it's the top 4 that are going to go through to the playoffs. So as you can see there, Pulse way down 2 for 7 at the moment, not looking too hot on making that through. But of course, Dignitas, they want to solidify their lead if at all possible over Empire. Empire, of course, do have 2 more games to be played still, which are coming up later. But we'll see if we have the same picks coming up in just a moment from Dignitas. We'll see if they go for the same too. I've got to say though, Dignitas, they went with Bane last match. What's your take on the hero? We don't see him that frequently.
I've been asked this question again. I don't really have that much of a take on him. I haven't used him that much. I mean, he's good against a lot of BKB carries because he has a grip. But at the same time, when you grip someone, you can get it cancelled. So it's not that reliable. He's pretty good in the laning phase, pretty strong, and he's really dangerous to lane against if you're a support and they're long against a hard lane, because you can sleep him and then your carry can walk over and stun him and he's dead. But Dignitas does have a disruptor player. Like Tons of Time plays a really good disruptor. I'm surprised he didn't pick it against the Wisp. But well, Rubik and Enigma picked already. Unless Rubik goes middle, it's really I don't see them picking disruptor up.
We have had a slight deviation here in the picks. Of course, Dignitas selecting the Enigma, of course. Last time that was in fact banned at the second phase. Pulse Dignitas were a little bit worried about Pulse getting that with the Black Hole and the Vacuum together. In this case, so Dignitas have allowed to slip through. That's a Beastmaster picked up earlier this time around. Sven banned again. We also have Tiny and Chaos Knight and Gyrocopter banned out as well. So do you think we might even see something crazy like a Wisp Pudge?
Wisp Pudge? Does Pulse do that? They might. I don't think.
I'm fairly sure I've seen them do it before. I mean, especially since well, what else would you possibly stick with the Wisp? Maybe a Nax, because it looks like they're running out of options here. They've got the Sven band, the Chaos Knight, the Tiny, the usual suspects are all gone here.
Well, you can do Leshrac. I've seen Pulse do Leshrac Wisp a lot. Wisp. But there's one more hero. Nax is okay. Like you can always teleport 3 heroes if Nax jumps into like TA and you bring the TA with you and then Nax pops up. But they're gonna counter the Enigma with the Beastmaster. And I'm surprised the Sven wasn't picked in the first 3. I was thinking Dignitas were gonna easily go for the Darkseer Sven combo where you vacuum with Stormbolt.
We'll see what they decide to go with though. But yeah, of course, Vacuum and Stormbolt absolutely brutal. Wisp, though, we'll see where he goes. I do like the idea of the mass gangbangs, teleporting gangbangs with Wisp, Templar Assassin, and of course Nake's hitching a ride. Definitely frustrating stuff. Luna also being banned. It looks like they're very wary about the AoE combos here. Of course, you get a Gyrocopter, or rather a Luna next to a Black Hole Vacuum Darkseer combo. That is definitely a very, very nasty result. And speaking of Gyrocopter, we've seen him quite a few times now. He's definitely becoming quite scary. Of course, the hitting power from that carry hero is ridiculous. Void also banned out, though, by Dignitas. Seems like Void's still getting a bit of love in the banning phase.
Dignitas might go Viper. They like Viper against TA. But I don't know. It didn't seem like they have many carry options left. But AUI plays a lot of different carries, so. And Pulse also plays a lot of different heroes. Pulse is really random with their picks sometimes. So is Dignitas, so I don't know if it's going to affect them that much.
Yeah, I like the point where you bring up the Viper, because A2000 does have a bit of an interesting build. He goes for the fast mech. He goes for treads and mech, and a bottle. He goes treads, mech, and a bottle, I think, sometimes as well. And he does that pretty much. It's just the same logic as opposed to picking up the early vanguards. You just get the mech instead, because it gives you the same amount of health, burst healing in terms of burst healing.
It's more tank. As long as you pop the mech, you're more tanky. It's better on range heroes than Vanguard no matter what.
Yeah,
even on melee heroes, if you pop the mech, it's better than Vanguard no matter what. But if you really have a teammate that's gonna get mech, then if you have good Vanguard and your teammate has a mech, it's generally better. But yeah, they pick up the Lone Druid. I forgot about that hero. No one picks him anymore but us.
Yeah, of course, Admiral Bulldog. In fact, I've got to ask, are we going to see the Shadowblade Bounty Hunter on Bulldog more often? Because I love that item build on him.
It's case dependent. He does like it a lot, but it really depends on the flow of the game. Like if you're winning the game really severely and the enemy supports are really weak, and they can't really afford that many sentry wards, you just walk up to them and kill them with low thirst. Because they're not gonna drop down their sentry wards like crazy. Because if they fuck up, then there goes all their gold. And also, I don't think this Lone Druid's gonna go to Lightning build, the AUI 2000 like Mojolnir build. He started not doing that recently.
Okay, apparently I'm muted in Dota TV. 1 second. I should not be. I've hit voice record.
Enable open mic?
That could be it. Hang on, let me just check. Normally the voice record does the trick. Actually, toggling the mute co-caster might have actually knocked it off. I'll just try it again. Sometimes it's a little bit finicky. Where we go? Audio.
Disruptor Wisp. What? What is this?
Okay then. Okay, Pulse definitely trying some different stuff. That said, the Lone Druid going to be picked up here by Dignitas.
I don't even know how this works. They have so much single target and then they pick a Disruptor, which doesn't do anything to Lone Druid, and Enigma's gonna get a BKB. Rubik doesn't really care. He stays back all the time. Destructor kind of cares.
I don't know.
That's it.
Maybe they're thinking, if you blink in, he can send you back. I mean, all round, he's not a bad hero. I mean, we've seen teams like Moscow, the older Moscow 5, Invertus Pro. They use Disruptor less for a defensive tool or an AoE team fight. They just use for the glimpses to pick people off and put them in a shitty position. So I mean, maybe that's I guess
you can come some back and then your TA and Beast Smashing and pick them off. But I don't know. You're against pretty tanky heroes right now. Like Lone Druid, Darkstar. Darkstar's gonna get tanky, I think, because he's gonna go metal. He's gonna get level. He's gonna get the mech. And Lone Druid's tanky. Enigma usually gets pretty. Oh, what the hell? Okay. I think this is gonna be Darkstar Longman then.
Okay, so Invoker is a hero that is not very common anymore. Of course, he used to be.
Against TA? Again? Fog hates this matchup, but he always plays it.
I don't know whether or not he managed to pull it off here, but that said, I mean, Fog, if it's Fog, they might even just try to hide him in a safe lane. They might even not put him anywhere near the Templar Assassin. I think that's also possible.
You can put the Lone Druid against him. Lone Druid does really well against TA. It's one of the only heroes that truly beat TA. Like, heroes like Batrider don't really truly beat TA. Batrider still loses if the TA plays it properly and doesn't fuck up. But Lone Druid actually just straight up beats that hero.
So you're saying like Batrider doesn't manage to beat her, just like he can gank her, maybe kill her a couple of times, but it comes down to the fact he can't stop the farm? Is that where we're calling this one?
Usually TA against Batrider, if the TA plays it properly, he won't die and he will outfarm the Batrider. Not severely. It's usually like 45 CS to like 30 something CS. But I mean, you can easily fuck up against Batrider and lose the lane. If you die, you pretty much lost the lane.
Okay, we fixed the in-game audio. It was when I toggled off the mute. It must have been just... It was either the open mic that they needed, or it was the toggle mute. Just had to put on the open, the voice record again. But yeah, Shadow
I
Fiend
really
is the
think they
final
should
pick.
invoke her safe lane right now. If they invoke her safe lane, there's no way the post is gonna go aggressive trial lane with those picks. And if you don't go aggressive trial lane, then even though Invoker is really weak in the safe lane, I mean, it's fine. Because there's no one's gonna try to disrupt him. He can farm really easily with the exort orbs, and he can always sunstrike middle, sunstrike top. So I think it's pretty good.
In fact,
You put AUI middle.
In fact, I have been seeing a lot of not Sunstroke, but I have seen a couple of Quas Wex Invokers lately. It's just, I do not like it nearly as much as the Exort Invoker. It's a lot more fun to watch, and also I just feel it hits really hard. Those Forge elementals are ridiculous, but we'll see where they roll out.
They're pulling Fog quite heavily. I think it's going middle. They gave him a Tango and a Healing Salve, and he just goes straight no Talisman into 2 branches. I mean, he might do okay against the TA.
I don't know. I get the feeling it might actually be a Quas Wex. He might even be looking just for that mana drain.
Actually, I've seen him do Quas into Exort.
Okay, we'll see what happens in a moment though. He's got the puppy hair. I love this. I freaking love this item, the puppy hair.
Is that really what it's called? Like
I don't know what it's technically called, but I'm dead set. It's the puppy hair. As I'm just watching Bonsai scout out Tides here, he's got that logo. Oh no, actually Tides can see him. Gonna dump him up on the high ground, and poor Bonsai. He does have spare money though. He will need that courier upgraded ASAP.
Oh, that sucks.
Yep, that sucks. Nothing worse. In fact, how did he get vision from up there? Oh, I think it must have been the bear. The bear saw him from across the river. And he's just going to sit here, auto-attack him. Not going to be much fun for him. Bonsai's going to get gradually whittled down. We'll see if he escapes in a moment, though. But it looks like Snaking isn't going to be playing Solid Mid, which is definitely a fairly different...
Can you get the TP? He's sending the TP to himself. Can you actually grab it?
No, there we go. It's upgrade.
No. Okay, but he shouldn't TP right now. If he TPs, he's going to get lifted again.
Yeah.
And then the game is over.
Which pretty much is just a free kill. In fact, they're going to even bring A2000 down here to get the last
hit they give him a kill. That's good. Is he going to bet on the miss? Is he going to bet on... If he bet on the miss, he would have lived. Because Rubik left the lane, so like if he TP'd out and AEI actually missed, which he did, then he would have TP'd out in time. That was real. I don't know about this play from time to time. He should have stayed there for a little bit longer, but the Beastmaster doesn't take the risk. He just stays there and dies. I guess that's the less risky play.
Well, pretty much he was thinking, well, I'm probably like 66% chance I die here. I'm gonna play the odds. I'm gonna keep the teleport scroll to get back out. No, I'm wrong. He's gonna walk back out. Never mind. So then again, I guess he just sort of gave up, went AFK, and went to fix himself a drink. Some cheesy burritos. Have a solo mid here. This is going to be a rough. It's going to be a bit of a rough matchup here for the Invoker, of course.
Oh, he got pulled, so I don't know how this lane works anymore. It might help him a lot. Like he got 200 regen, 190 gold regen from his supports, so it might help him quite a bit.
We'll see if it works out. I do see Darkseid though has managed to get up his second level here. This is it though. I honestly don't know how I feel about the whole Shadow Fiend here. Do you think this is really going to scale that well into the late game? I feel like it's going to become fairly subpar versus the Lone... Like, it's not going to become powerful enough compared to Lone Druid.
They're going to be able to kill the bear with the Beastmaster aura, with the... what's it called? The Meld, and the Shadow Fiend aura. They might be able to just, like, snipe the bear out with all that minus armor and attack speed. But, more about this mid lane. Like, I don't expect, Fog to get ganked by Disruptor or Wisp, but he's gonna be able to focus 100% on the lane, whereas Regen can't focus 100% on the lane, because if he gets ganked by Coast Snap with Enigma or whatever, then it's gonna be hard for him. Also, tons of times pulling middle. This lane middle might work out a lot better than we expect. And look at top. What's that?
It looks like Dark's just going to surge out of there. I do apologize for the overlay. I got so excited by MV's presence, also distracted by that stupid sound bug. However, I fixed it. I left the overlay on. I did an LD. Oh, always annoying when we do that. I'm just looking at the farm right now. Lone Druid seems to be the only one who's... he seems to be fairly on track there. 59, of course, should be. He's got the solo lane there. Also has got Enigma to back himself up. Yeah, Shadow Fiend's really kind of struggling. Well, that said... Ouch. Yeah, it is somewhat disappointing to see him. That said, of course, he can flash farm fairly efficiently. So, I mean, if things go poorly, Fishbone can stack for him a bit, and then he can just burst down some of those counts. Of course, does need to be careful the Darkseid doesn't jack them. But that's it. I mean, this is it. Like, look what's happening. Just with the Iron Shell, he's causing so much damage to Wagamama. He has to play fairly defensive. They don't have the burst nuke here to really upset him. I mean, Wisp doesn't have the levels, doesn't have the burst nuke. Of course, the Thunderclap there for Fishbone isn't that effective, and low-level Shadow Fiend doesn't really have a whole lot. So, I mean, Snaking's just been getting hyper-aggressive there with the Iron Shell and chasing after him.
Yeah. I think the Asians actually got blocked. Oh, it just spawned now for the Beastmaster. I think it'll be pretty funny if AUI sends his bear there to block the Asians, to block the posts, because he doesn't really need it to farm right now. That'll be really interesting if he does that. That's what we would do.
We'll see what he does, yeah. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. Meanwhile, though, in the mid, it looks like Rubik is trying, or in fact succeeding in pulling here, just causing some havoc there for Rishon. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. He's up to 11 and 8, and I mean, he's got fairly cheap early items.
He's even with the Invoke right now. That's not good. And they're losing every lane right now. That's like what I think is, because Snaking is level 3, whereas Bonza is like level 2, and he's not getting his stacks done properly. It's 4 minutes and he only got 1 stack because his pull got blocked.
And Fishbone generally just sort of wandering around here, not really doing a whole lot. There we go, he's trying to stack them up now, but I mean that's the camp there that Darkseid might even pull and then just jack for himself. This could be a bit of an issue for them.
Yeah.
See, it looks like we might have Snakey in a bit of trouble here. Gonna cause a bit of damage, but he will be able to surge away if necessary. And yeah, I do agree, definitely. They are struggling quite a bit here across all the lanes. Now, Rishon, though, he should be, I don't know how well this is going to work out. It's going to be that, I feel like they have possibly some mid-game ganking punch. I don't know if you agree with this, Envy, but I feel like it's going to be, they're going to have to take control of the map and start ganking really hard as soon as they can to get this back to where they need it to be.
Yeah, they can gank. I want to see if Dignitas is going to 5-man Dota once they get the mech up and stuff. Then they can avoid the ganks by doing so. They have a pretty strong push lineup. But AUI is pushing bottom alone right now. I think he messed up the creep equilibrium. But he's gonna keep the Beastmaster away with his hero and bear, so he's not gonna get much experience anyway. That's a really good play by AUI. Also, I want to mention that Snaking played really well there. He checked the win at 4 minutes, even though there's 2 supports checking it. He knew he couldn't die, and that made the TA not get his bottle refilled. He's getting ganked right now too.
Yeah, see, the Mel gonna try and save him. They don't really have anything to deal with.
Are they gonna black hole? Oh.
No, just a counter ward, a much cheaper, well, arguably a cheaper option. It can keep that black hole now for a team fight if he wants, and of course can go and gank a lane. But yeah, the counter ward there from Rubik, gonna spot that up, and TA, unfortunately, unable to hide and meld, and just sneak away like that.
And like you mentioned, Top, I mean that stack is going to hurt them.
Yeah,
if you stack like that, you're gonna need to like keep the Darkstar away from the lane. Oh, he does pull it back. Lucky Centaur creep stuns the creep wave, so he can pull it back.
And of course, Wagamama landing those nukes, and Wagamama actually showing up. They're not actually playing with full stands now. I didn't notice that. In fact, let me just double check. We do have still got Bonsage the manager standing in, of course, playing as the Beastmaster, but Wagamama is back, and we'll see exactly how much damage he can deal here. And of course, Wagamama has been known to turn around losing games just through his sheer presence alone. Of course, the best bait 2012 with his Dirge. In the mid lane, though, Invoker still going toe-to-toe here with Rishon. Rishon, of course, is Templar Assassin. They're about the same on the CS. Oh, actually, I take that back. Invoker is getting denied hard here, 21 and 15. Although it looks like a gank in the mid here. There we got the slow in from the Templar Assassin trap. Fog now trying to back up here. Now actually going to counterattack. Going to drag Templar Assassin. Templar Assassin doesn't care. Actually goes after Tides. Tides now going to cop those orbs in the face. Going to get taken out there. And now Templar Assassin comes back for round 2. Throws down another trap. Decides not to pursue though. Tower going to deal too much damage. Darkseid is here as well. Darkseid though giving chase surge. And then pussies out. Decides not to go for it. I'm gonna say
that was really weird play. He didn't coast snap early. He waited so long for the coast snap, which led to Tides of Time dying, and he didn't tornado at all.
You know, Invoker definitely. I mean, you've got the puppy hair, but we don't have the Dendy style play there. Sadly, didn't pull it out. Didn't pull it off there. Also, I think it was probably a bit of miscommunication there because Tides pulled the Templar Assassin towards him, but I think Fog was actually just in full retreat mode. Didn't actually want to fight that much.
I don't know if they expected the Wisp to be there. Maybe the Wisp was a surprise factor.
It's true, it is night time and they don't have that much vision. In fact, no high ground wards being thrown up there. Rishon though, 700 gold in the bank, probably going to pick up his phase boots fairly shortly. Invoker has already managed to finish up his, not having to worry about that bottle there. Darkseid though, I'm interested in how he's doing. 4-0, hasn't got that much farm, but he hasn't even, actually no, I'm going to say, he had a fairly good beginning. That said though, Wagamama has managed to catch up now, he's doing fairly well. Oh, good spot there as it looks like they will manage to pick off Bonsage. Bonsage, though, the bear, going to try and take that nice turnaround there. At the very least, I mean, it's a decent save there as he will get a little bit out of it and try and make the best of a bad situation there. But I've got to say, I'm surprised. I mean, they had a bad start here. Snaking was really pummeling the Shadow Fiend up in the top lane there. Envy, but that said, he's made a fairly decent recovery now, leading the farm board.
Oh, I just got back, so I have no idea what you said. I got a phone call, but they're gonna try to push the tier 2 tower now. The Bonsage was actually doing, I'm not sure I say his name properly, but he's level 5 now. He's doing way better than Snaking, which is a surprise because he started off doing really, really awful. But he is going to lose both his towers, whereas Snaking's gonna keep his towers alive with his Iron Shell.
To be fair though, the push is much harder though. Coming from Dignitas, of course, they have both the
I think Snake's
Enigma.
gonna die now.
Oh, poor Snakey, as he does get glimpsed back. There we go, that's what I'm talking about, that ganky power. And I think this is possibly what they want to disrupt it for, because once you get that glimpse up, of course you can pull that Darkseid back out of position just for that gank potential. But what I was asking you before is, basically it looked like Wagamama was having a really crappy start there with his farm, but he has caught up quite quickly now. He can start flash farming with his razors. He's up now 57 to 29, leading that creep board.
I think it's because he got the neutral kills. His his last hitting in the lane was still quite bad, but because he killed the neutrals, he caught up.
And it just comes down to the fact that like, Shadow Fiend's one of those
but
heroes.
But he's still really behind in comparison to AUI, because AUI did get the first blood on the Beastmaster, and he has the Midas.
Yeah, and of course
the tower kills.
Yes, I mean he's pretty much rolling. He's Mr. Moneybags here, just rolling in it.
They don't have the push too, so I don't expect them to get any towers for a long time.
Like Shadow Fiend's picking up. Wait, where is Shadow Fiend going with this? He has actually picked up. He's picked his power. He's picked up his power trades. He's got his Ring of Aquila. He's also picked up a Ring of Regen. Any idea where he's going with that one?
Middle.
So it looks like we'll actually possibly pick off the Templar Assassin. There's that cold stuff going to be stacked with the telekinesis. So slight misuse there. It doesn't matter though. They should be able to pick, or maybe not actually.
Are you serious?
Refraction, she cancels the attacks there as well, dodges him with that Windwalk. Still running for her life, has got the speed though, a couple of auto attacks here. Do we have any spells coming from Invoker? 5 seconds left on that. Bottles up and it will matter in the end there.
This is a crazy dive, I don't know about this.
We see the counter attack there as it looks like the telekinetic field. Here comes a melt hit. Black hole though, gonna try and stop. That doesn't happen. Picks off the Enigma. Rubik as well. Invoker, Fog, Pulse. What have they done? They've turned this run around. There we go, the slow again. They are going to try and back off Fog. Fog, though, still being pursued. The Hawk has got vision of him. Can he get away? Finds a double damage, or at the very least, another slow being tossed in. Can he deal the damage necessary? 1 second of the cold snap. Not going to happen. The orbs, as well, will finish him off. And a triple kill. I mean, they could... probably not. Beastmaster didn't really have enough mana for it. I get the feeling.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah, that was a really big turnaround. I think Dignitas got really stubborn with that dive. They expected T to die, but he just wouldn't die. They're like, fuck it, let's just dive. This is bullshit. We have to kill him no matter what.
Yeah, I mean they did make a mistake. They stacked all the stuns together. Of course, telekinesis. I mean, had they not stacked the telekinesis on top of the cost. Oh, good. Oh, yeah.
UI still in range for him.
He's probably in a lot of trouble. Look at that wisp, block the hell out of it. Although the bear procs roots, and this probably steals the end of it. It looks like they will actually know. In fact, he's going to turn around and Fog.
Oh,
there
he
we
has
go.
No boost. He's going to die. The Beastmaster.
Oh, poor Beastmaster. I feel sorry for him. He just gets in there. Oh, still not enough love for him. But yeah, definitely that mid gank. I agree. It really looked like they said, screw it, we've got to kill this guy just to save face. And in the end, Pulse with their turnaround there.
That was a really weird bait by AUI. I don't think it was a bait. I don't think he did it intentionally, like staying in range for him to bait the gank. But well, it did work out in the end. Like if he was melee form, there was no way Pulse would have TP'd in on that. But because he was in range form, they're like, okay, let's try killing this guy. And then it didn't work out in the end.
Indeed. Rishon though, gonna keep chopping down this mid tower, popping glyphs there. As it looks like they're thinking about doing that. In fact, there we go. They're gonna go for the steal. Looks like they should have cleaned up that ancient stack when they could have.
The Hawk does see it though, so they're gonna try to contest this, and they might be able to do so. Disruptor does not have that much mana, but he does have his ulti and kinetic field.
And they don't have Black Hole up either.
Yep. They don't have the mech up. AUI is pretty low. I think this is a really bad fight for Dignitas.
There we go, the ult in there from Disruptor. They will pick up Disruptor. That's just likely to cost them an Enigma as well. The bear, though, is starting to fall low. In fact, if they kill that bear, that's really going to hurt AUI. He does have a pocket bear available, although they are going to back off. Pulse now, going to send in Wagamama. Wagamama, though, going to throw down some nukes. We do have Wisp porting it as well. Going to try and finish him off there. There's the Templar Assassin. Roots proc there on the Wisp. Wisp going to get 10 back home. Looks like the snap is going to come in here as the bear will get picked off there, and they also bring down the Rubik as well. Looks like Wagamama managed to finish that one off as well.
Well, AUI has talked about the stacks before and how, like, oh, he doesn't like stack metagame because if you stack, then it makes the game boring, or it's like AI against humans. But I think stacks bring a really interesting metagame just because when you have a lot of stacks, it forces a lot of team fights and it forces a lot of weird situations. And I guess Dignitas isn't ready to deal with stacks right now because they did fall for the stack bait.
Indeed, and I mean it also comes down to how teams handle it. I mean if we watch old Chinese games, of course they just sit, stack, farm and just not do anything. Of course now they're way more aggressive, but I mean if both teams just sit down and farm their own stacks naturally and there's not a lot of stealing going on, then yeah, I agree with AUI, it does become fairly boring after a while. And it would have casting it for him in the body. It's one of those games where I try hard not to fall asleep in, but yes. In this situation, plenty of stealing, plenty of conflict. Also, speaking of conflict, mid-tower about to disappear, though. There's the ult there for Disrupt. He gets hit by a tornado. Telekinetic field as well. Kinetic field there on top of the Enigma. Enigma gets picked off again.
They need to get out. Dignitas keeps staying to try to get extra kill, but they're not going to get the kill, and now they're both going to die, maybe.
And then we go,
they should have got out and let the Enigma die. The Enigma tried his best, absolute best, to get the last hit on the tower and risk his life for it. And he did get the last hit on the tower, but the rest of the teammates should have just backed off. Now they're both gonna die.
I mean, these team fights have been costly.
Does get a top tower though. Yep.
Yeah, these team fights have been costly. Like we can see here, they're still leading in terms of gold. I mean, they've only dropped down by about 1,500 gold. But on the other hand, though, experience is really crippling. They're now giving the Dire a lead, a good 3k experience lead here. And at this point in time, this is going to be fairly crippling because you've got heroes like Shadow Fiend. Once he gets those levels, he really starts to hit hard. But like you said, they are counter pushing tops. It looks like Snaking is going to get glimpsed back once again, gets caught inside the kinetic field, and there we go, a pick off there. But he does, of course, steal that down, do a fair amount of damage there to the top tier 2 as well.
Yeah, but they lost a tier 2 tower middle. I feel like Dignitas isn't playing this right. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Post, but I do think Dignitas is the better team. And when you're the better team, I mean, it's sad that we have to consider this when you're planning a strategy out, but when we're playing against like a weaker team, usually we will try to play safe. We don't use any like risky strategies or whatever, because we know that if we just play it right, then we're gonna get the victory. But Dignitas is like being really stubborn. They're trying to dive towers and like doing all this fancy stuff when they should just be playing properly and just win the game standardly.
And well, I mean, this is true. This is definitely true. I know Shadow Fiend just ditched that Ring of Health, Ring of Regen. Looks like he was just keeping that for laning phase. I think it was mostly just to help him deal with the bollocks known as Iron Shell, of course. That was really causing issues for him. Every time he pulled, he had Iron Shell creep chase him out of the tower, which of course was making even just getting attacked for Shadow Fiend is not much. It's not very pleasant for him. The creeps, he doesn't have that much health, and the creep kind of hurt a fair bit. So then, of course, he's throwing an Iron Shell. It was really frustrating him.
That's it, though. To the secret shop.
Okay. Looks like they're trying to get him behind purple.
Chicken snipe?
I don't think so.
There's no way.
No, he was just getting in position. There we go. Dark's here now. Going to get harassed, although it looks like they won't get the kills. It looks like Tide's also going to give chase here.
Oh, no.
Yeah, there we go. Picked up, although actually, wow. Decides to go for it. I don't know where he's going here. Vacuum back in, though. Picked off eventually. Of course, that unfortunately, he threw up the refraction. I mean, against any other hero, that possibly would have saved him. But unfortunately, Dark's here. It ticks every 0.2 of a second. Just does.
Well, he was dead no matter what. But he tried to kill the Rubik, and the Rubik steals the melody. It's like, nope.
Nope, not gonna happen. But yeah, definitely a bit of a weird play there. That said, I was about to say Shadow Fiend has almost picked up his Manta style. In fact, it's only a couple of 100 gold away. As you see a tether in once again. Okay, it's just for speed here. Fishbone, no, it gets a stun off on Snaking. Snaking now into trouble. They throw it in the Disrupt Drop, misses completely, doesn't get the kinetic field. Going to glimpse him back in. There we go, good glimpse there. Unfortunately, Fishbone gets rooted. Black hole as well, Wagamama. Tether in. Not going to happen though. Wagamama about to fall. No, Wagamama on the run. Walking away. Mech gets popped. He's out of here. Tether Mech will heal him up there. As it looks like they're going to get the stun down. There's the Malefist now. Wisp in some trouble. Pinoy trying to back off. A root down again on Wagamama. Wagamama, can he get away? No bait from him. Does pop off his Requiem though as he dies. Pinoy now getting boxed in by Creep. In some trouble. They've only lost the Darks here. Trade for 3. Dignitas finally landing the punches that they need to. That said though, it's not over. Rishon is now in the mix here with his Templars. After roots again from this bear. Complete bollocks, and they will bring him down. They're getting these timely roots, and now Tide's about to fall as well. They will pick him off there with a roar, but it is a costly result because they're also going to leave the Beastmaster completely out of position, and that is pretty much a wipe. They're losing all 5. Wisp blows his ult to try and shop and pick somebody off, but it doesn't happen.
Wisp is going to die too now because he ran into the team fight and he TP's out in front of everybody. That makes no sense. Now he's going to die for sure. I think he was trying to save one of the teammates, but I mean, he should have known that there was no way he would have made it. I thought he gave away 4 kills and a top tower.
I thought he TP'd in.